guys, welcome back. Today we're going to jump into a little bit more in-depth some CTFs. We're going to do some of these basic challenges here just to kind of get a handle on how I go about doing a CTF. And then in the future we'll get it more in-depth into like some of these more complex, more interesting ones. And I'll probably just work through those with you guys, and that should be a good time because it'll be a good challenge for everybody. But today, so I already did this first one, Obedient Cat. I was recording, my recording got messed up, so had to restart. But we'll just go ahead and I'll talk through how I did it. So the description here tells us that this file has a flag in plain sight. So it's just the file with the flag in it. And you could open this with a text editor, but it's telling you this Obedient Cat. A lot of the time the descriptions will have some kind of hints in there, and then also we get all these hints here. So you can see this dollar sign here. That's what the first hint is telling us. This dollar sign indicates that something is happening in the terminal. So we could use wget, which will get this URL to download the file. I already have it downloaded. So what I'll typically do is make a new. So I have a folder for all the CTFs. So I have PicoCTF folder, and then I'll make a folder for each challenge. These first couple, this part's not super necessary. I just kind of wanted to demonstrate how I would go about doing it. Not super necessary because doing these basic ones, there's really not a lot of code writing that needs to happen or a lot of kind of exploration of what you're downloading, but sometimes you'll end up with a lot more files for the more complex ones than just this single flag file. So it told us we can use man cat to, this stands for manual, and the cat is a command that lets us look at a file. So you can see here I don't have the help files downloaded on this computer. So I could download that, we could look through it, but we already know what cat does, so for now I'm not going to worry about that. What cat lets us do is read the contents of a file from the command line. So we're going to cat our flag file, and then that's our flag right there, which is what I copied that and then put it over into this PicoCTF right here, so you can see it's there from earlier. Something good to note, all the flags are going to have this format where it's PicoCTF and then the squiggly bracket, the flag, and then end squiggly bracket. So there we go. I solved this challenge correctly again. And you can see we get points racked up. The point values typically kind of denote how difficult they are. It also varies a little bit depending on the category. Like as you can see, if we hop over to binary exploitation, which is a much more complicated category, there's some basic ones here that are still worth more points than the ones we've done, and then there's some really high point ones later on. But we'll just go ahead and keep working through some of these. So let's take a look at this one. I'm sure I've worked through some of these in the past, but I haven't looked at these in a while. So this is a cryptography one here. It says mod 26, and do you know what rot 13 is? So I happen to know what rot 13 is, and what we would probably do for this one is we'd go to Google and be like, okay, well, what's rot 13 if you don't know what it is? And here you can see rot 13 is easy to translate without any tools, and it's a Caesar cipher, as you can see over here. So what a Caesar cipher is just replacing letters by rotating through the alphabet for to encrypt something. Not a good method of encrypting something because it's super easy to break, but it's just kind of a basic cryptological method based off the Caesar cipher, which the Caesar cipher is this rot 13. You can do all kinds of different, like you can do a rot 8 where it's rotating the letter 8 times through the alphabet. And then this mod 26 is what a mod is modular division. Or modular math in general is like you rotate back through, so it's kind of like having a circle. And if you reach like the 26th one, you go back to 1 after that, and then kind of work your way back through again. So there's bound to be a bunch of calculators online for this. You could also write some Python code pretty simply to do this, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go to a rot 13 calculator. Here we go. So enter phrase, grab this flag, copy that, put it in there, and convert to regular. And Oh, I don't think I got the whole flag in there. Oh, I think these underscores are messing it up a little bit. Let's see. There we go. So you can see this is a little messy because it's getting rid of these underscores and these squiggly brackets, but we can see this is the correct method because we have this PicoCTF, and then all of that is going to be our words in between these brackets here, or in between these underscores. But let me see if I can find a calculator that doesn't mess up the brackets. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, you could also reverse engineer this a little bit. If you look through this right here, and you know it's supposed to be PicoCTF, you could figure out that the C is 13 places off from the P, and so on and so forth, and figure out that it is a rod 13. But here we go. That's our flag right there. You can see this website's pretty cool. You can do all kinds of different rotations up to 25. So grab this and go back over here and throw that into there. And just for the sake of everyone's learning here, let's check out this hint. Yeah, so it's just telling you this can be solved online if you don't want to try to do it by hand. It could be done by hand, it'd be kind of a pain in the ass, or done in a Python script. You notice I also didn't make a folder for this one because I knew this is one that I wasn't going to need to download any files or really do too much locally. I could do it all online very easily. So cool, that's that one knocked out. Let's go to our next general skills challenge here. So let's see, Python scripts are invoked. Kind of like programs in the terminal, can you run this Python script using this password and get the flag? So this one, you see we got a couple things to download here. So we'll go ahead and go to our desktop and make a new folder for this. Right in PicoCTF, new folder, Python wrangling. And then we will go ahead and download these files here. Okay. Password.txt, flag.txt. Okay. Cool. So then we'll just hop in here and move these three guys over to PicoCTF and then into our Python wrangling. So if you've been around this channel for a little bit, you know how we go about running a Python script. So we'll go ahead and get into our directory that we need to be in, and then we'll just Python 3 run this script and see what it says. Okay, so it gives us a usage statement, which is super helpful. Something else you could do if it doesn't give anything when you output that, you could always hop into here and open it up and view it in our IDE here. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like we have a little kind of basic cryptologic program here that's going to have us enter the password. So you can encrypt and decrypt. See this TAC E, TAC D, and then encoding and decoding going on here. So we can go ahead, let's go back and look at that usage statement. So we're going to use the script, we're going to decrypt, and then our file, which is going to be that flag file that we downloaded. Actually, before we get into this, let's go ahead and cat that password.txt. Okay, there we go. So we're going to need that to run this program, I think. So Python 3, that, decrypt, and we want to decrypt the flag. We'll do that, and then we'll enter this password here, which I'm just going to snag from up here, make our lives a little easier. Enter that, and there we go. The program just ran and went ahead and decrypted for us. So this is something where you can get a little bit more in depth if you want. You can go through and kind of read this code yourself, figure things out on your own, figure out what kind of encryption it's doing and stuff like that. And then you could, in theory, you could do it without the password. But yeah, pretty basic little challenge we just did there. Let's grab this flag, copy that, and paste it up into here. And that should be our third challenge knocked out. There we go. We'll go ahead and do one more today just because I feel like we haven't been doing this for too long. Can you invoke help flags for a tool or binary? This program has extraordinarily helpful information. So what I'm thinking here is saying wave a flag, and it's talking about help flags, in a tool or binary, and it's saying that this has extraordinarily helpful information in that help flag. So I'm thinking maybe the flag is going to be displayed if we use the help command. So we will go ahead and for this one, we'll make a new folder. So go back here. What's this called again? Wave a flag. So new folder, wave a flag, and then we'll go ahead and download this guy and get it into our folder. Okay. So do this, Pico, and then wave a flag. Cool. So that is our binary there. Let's go ahead and actually let's check out. There's a lot of hints for this one, so let's go ahead and just look through some of these to see what kind of extra information we can get it. Because there's a good chance this might not be enough for you to figure out. Okay, this program will only work in the web shell or another Linux computer. So I'm not currently running Windows subsystem for Linux, which is super good. I've used it in the past. I just don't have it set up on this computer yet. So that means we're not going to be able to do this in our PowerShell here because it's a Windows operating system. So we can use this in this web shell here and do everything on the website instead of doing it on our local host. So let's open up this web shell. Username. I'm going to log in real quick and I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. I actually I had to look up my password quick because I couldn't remember which one I used. But here we go. We have this web shell up and running now. So as you saw over here, we can use this wget command in our web shell to grab that file. So we'll go ahead and do that. Oop, got some extra stuff on there. Get rid of all that. There we go. So there we go. So it's saved. So if we look in our thing now, we have this README, and then we have that file that we're going to be working on. So let's go back and keep looking at this. So we already know can't run it in a Windows environment. That's very important to know. One thing I would actually pretty highly recommend doing if you're going to get deep into CTFs, and I'll do a tutorial on it later as we get into some of the more complex ones, is I'll normally make a virtual machine with a Linux operating system and download all of my files for this later on in there, as well as some reverse engineering tools and some other exploitation tools that come in handy for later challenges. But for this we can just do here. All right, so it tells you need to run this program by entering that in the terminal, but you have to make an executable first by doing this change. This stands for change mod, and we're adding execute to it. So if we do here, go back over here, we can do ls tech l, which stands for long, and it'll tell us right here. This does not have. This has read and write. This we can read it and we can write to it. This warm file. So we need to do that. Change mod plus x to it's called warm. There we go. So now it's an executable. So with that, we can just go ahead and see what that does. So there we go. The program runs itself, and it gives this little message: "Hello, user. Pass me a -h," which is normally what you put in to get the help for a program to see what it can do. So let's do that. Warm -h. Oh, help, I actually don't do too much, but here's the flag. Okay, so this is just getting us to run a program and use the -h help flag to get help from that program. That's something that really comes in handy later as you go through using other people's code and stuff. Most people, if they're producing code for other people to use, will put a help command in to tell you what needs to be input to that code. But let's go ahead and grab this flag here, copy that, and back over to here, paste, there we go, submit flag, and there we go, 10 more points. So pretty good day, got a couple points here, did some of these basic challenges and went through how I go about kind of organizing my work as I go. Something I've done in the past too, this was one of my classes that I took previously, reverse engineering class. We had to do a lot of CTF kind of reverse engineering challenges through that class, and we would make a README file for each one and post that all to GitHub. So that's a really great way to keep organized too. And it's nice that people do that because it means that if you really can't figure one out based off of the hints and like Googling some of the information you might need and stuff like that, um, you can always find GitHub repos or YouTube tutorials on how to do some of these. So that's all we're going to do today. I'll be back shortly and we'll probably jump into some more complex ones. We might work through a couple more basic ones first just because get that foundational knowledge nailed down, and then we'll hop into some more complex ones to really get going and learn some cool stuff. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you in the next one.